Hey guys, Shep here with another movie review for you today. Tonight's movie was Patriots Day. For those that don't know what the movie is about, is Peter Berg's take on the Boston Marathon bombing that happened in April of 2013. And let me tell you right off the bat, this movie is an emotional roller coaster. I cried. I'll admit right off the bat. If you don't know what this movie is about, it's in April of 2013. Two guys thought they could bring their brand of terrorism into the Boston Marathon and cause terrorism at the finish line. So, and then the Boston Police Department, FBI, and the surrounding law enforcement agencies were on the hunt for these two individuals. So this movie starts the day before, if I remember correctly, with you introducing you to some of the characters that are going to take place in this movie, to the marathon itself, running up to the marathon, running the marathon, and then the bomb explosion, and showing everything that happened, the confusion, the camaraderie, the love, the support that everybody had that day to come together, help the guys and the individuals that were injured and hurt, until afterwards, where Boston was on pretty much lockdown to track down these two suspects until the very end, where they finally caught them. Peter Berg, who brought us Deepwater Horizon before last year, and before that, Lone Survivor, has seemed to have found his niche. We can forgive him, I guess, for Battleship that he did a few years back, because these last three movies, he's been knocking them out of the park. And I think he should continue down these roads. If he can have the success he's been having with these movies, then, we want to see more. We want to see what else he can do. Because this movie, like I said before, was such an emotional roller coaster. It had you on the edge of your seat, wondering if you're going to, get to these guys. It had you emotional. I'm going to tell you right now, there's one scene. Most of you know there's an 8-year-old boy that passed away at this bombing. His parents were taken away to be treated at a hospital, but the body had to be left there due to forensics needed to come and do their thing. No one else was there. It was being cleared away. Everybody was leaving, but Boston Police Department and the state troopers said they weren't leaving this kid by himself. One state trooper stayed there, volunteered to stay there, and he stayed there. And he stayed there. I don't know how many hours it was. It seemed to be all day, almost into the evening, until they were allowed to take this kid's body away. I cried at that scene. That scene was so emotional. That state trooper wasn't going to leave no matter what. He was there to honor that kid's life. And I'm getting a little touched up right now, because that's how touching that scene was. And that's how that movie goes. It's a roller coaster. It's great to see how the runners were helping, the injured at the scene. It was great to see everybody coming together to show their love. And then we get to the manhunt. We all know the story. If you lived in the U.S., you're probably glued to the seat. I know where I was living, I was still with my parents at the time, and we, every night, were watching what was happening up in Boston. We were sending our thoughts and prayers up to Boston. But now we get to see kind of like the behind the scenes of how the police officers and FBI were doing their due diligence and trying to track down these people. I felt sorry for some of these people that had to actually watch the videos and trying to find out who the suspects were, because they had to watch over and over and over again the explosion. That one scene of just the explosion happening and trying to catch one little detail to see who or what caused this to happen. Mark Wahlberg plays the lead in this as well. He plays one of the sergeants in the Boston Police Department. He does a superb job as well. He's just a great actor nowadays. He has some good emotional scenes as well. I want to say, like, everybody hit this their strides in this movie. Everybody wanted to make sure this movie was top notch, and it doesn't disappoint you. It, it's 2 hours of a roller coaster. You will be drained when you walk out of this movie. I was drained after seeing this movie, but you won't be disappointed. And no, this is not them trying to cash in on a tragedy that happened 4 years ago. I've heard that rumor going around, or people saying, "Oh, did we need a movie so soon?" I think this was a great time for this movie. I think Peter Berg respected everybody that was involved in this horrendous act. It was great to see everybody's support for Boston when this happened. So if you haven't gone and seen this movie, I highly recommend it. I give it 4 stars. The director was great. The actors were phenomenal. Cinematography was great. But bring your tissues, because it is going to hit you in the heartstrings. Peter Berg knew what he was doing when he made this movie and how to film a scene. So, I know this movie's been out for a little bit, so if you've already seen it, let me know in the comments below. Tell me what you thought about this movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend seeing it. It's still in the theaters. Go check it out. Do yourself a favor. You won't be disappointed. So, come back next week and see what else I have to say.